sadness of losing him. And I think I'm there with a lot of fans who were just drawn to him. And he was a compelling person because, like so many fans, he not just Laker fans, not just NBA fans, although he had fans around the league. I mean, we're talking about fans worldwide through the Philippines and China. We were drawn to him because, in part, we got to watch him grow and change. We got to see a genuine, a flawed person evolve. Not somebody who fit tidily into the kind of two-dimensional boxes we often draw for celebrities. Kobe Bryant kind of destroyed that two-dimensional mold, much like he destroyed defenders around the league for a long time. Kobe came to embrace the polarizing nature of who he was and his image. There was no middle ground. You loved Kobe or you hated him, and that's the way he wanted it. That was part of his legacy. But whatever happened, you had to respect his game and his work ethic. That started way back in 1997. It was maybe his first big moment on a big stage. Game 5, second round playoff series against Utah. Lakers needing a game-winning shot, and Kobe airballed it. And then he airballed his next 3 shots at the start of overtime. It could have broken a lot of guys. He was ripped in the media. His coach was ripped for leaving him in. There were fans wondering who this kid was, and they were letting take shots. Kobe's reaction to this? The plane lands in LA after that loss. He went straight to a local high school gym and shot basketballs until the sun came up the next day. He spent all this time. It was not going to happen to him again. He was going to work on his game until he got past this problem. By next February, he was already an NBA All-Star. And after that came the Hate Me Nike ad and a public persona where he embraced the Mamba mentality. And we saw that the rest of his career. Through the championships with Pau Gasol, when we really saw it? In 2013 when he tore his Achilles, right? He refused to let the injury, he wouldn't even leave the game. He went out and shot his free throws as if he could return after that. And then he came back and put more memories on the board for all his fans. He fought back through multiple injuries to have this kind of amazing farewell tour and then that legendary 60-point finale. That was part of his legacy. And that legacy has left a huge impact, not just on the court, but off the court. And we saw that in the outpouring of players. Look, those weren't just players from his generation. It wasn't just Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley and Shaq and players who played with and against him who were talking. It was Trae Young talking about all the lessons and all the advice. It was Joel Embiid saying watching Kobe was the reason he wanted to play basketball. And the other way he really impacted players, building a brand. He was the first player to really put in the work in China. He was there every year before everybody else was. He had a charity there before anybody else did. He did the work to build his brand internationally long before everybody else, and he built a roadmap for other players to do it who have followed him. It's hard to believe that a player who had grown so large in the hearts of so many could be just snatched away like this. And for me, the part I remember most is the Kobe who evolved as a family man. In his final years, especially the year he was sitting out with a torn Achilles, he'd sometimes come into the Laker locker room and just talk with media. You couldn't pull out a recorder. You couldn't talk to him about stuff on the record. It was just sometimes he wanted to talk to guys off the record. He kind of missed the rapport. And a lot of times those conversations would turn to family. There were a lot of us. I have 3 daughters. He has 4. And it became conversations about raising daughters, trying to navigate family life, how to make them strong people. Kobe had this ability, this way of passing along the confidence within him to others. And he was able to do that with his daughters. You started to see that with Gigi, who had more of a public persona, and it's such a terrible loss, but it was there with the other daughters as well.